Hello there. Welcome to the stream. I have not prepared any kind of opening to this live stream, so I'm just going to ramble something. This stream will be me working or starting to work on a new track. I have no idea what this track's going to be called. I have no idea what country it's going to take place. Maybe we could figure it out during this stream. I don't really know. But the idea of the stream is I'm just going to start building this track. As you can see, I'm using two main plugins to build a track, and those two plugins are Command Utility, or CMD UTL for short, and the other one is Archimate 2. And for the other track builders out there, this is a pretty well-known plugin that's being used by quite a bit of people who build racing tracks as well. Alright, so let's get started. I've got a layout drawn on my notepad IL. So I've kind of an idea what layout what I'm going to go for. I'm thinking about making a track around a lake or next to a lake partially, with a little bit of elevation, not as much as the previous track, but alright, I'm going to shut up, I'm going to start working, and maybe I can ask some questions, answer some questions about the game in the meantime, or I don't know, maybe interact with you guys through the chat. We'll see. So now I'm going to make the first corner of this track, and this will be a hairpin. So this is already. I always have to figure out how long those single parts have to be to make them just right. Like to not make them too tight, or yeah, what's the opposite of tight? I don't know. So I've got a hairpin here, that's the first corner, and now I'm going to follow it up by a left-hander, kind of similar perhaps to Bahrain, the Bahraini circuit. Okay, let's see, this is good. So then what I had in mind is a short straight. I'm going to keep an eye out on the stud, so the length of this straight, I'm not going to make it too long, because I want this track, it will be a relatively short track. Compared to the other tracks I've built. I planned the lap time of this track to be around 1:15-ish. Alright, so now I want to make a chicane, right left, pretty basic. I'm sorry if I come over as a bit boring. I'll try to make this stream somewhat exciting. But yeah, I thought this would be a longer chicane. Let's see, yeah, I'm going to make the other turn right now. Make it slightly flow, perhaps. This is not Bahrain, to make it clear. This is going to be custom track, as is every other track in Formula ROBLOX. And no, it's not going to be Bahrain 2.0, don't worry. Or let's see, I'm going to make it a bit shorter, a bit of a kink to the right, then going to make a hairpin. Maybe try an underrated European country as a location. Could do that. I don't know yet which country. It must kind of fit the climate, but of course I can also play with the grass colors maybe. Yeah, as I said, it's around a lake. That's the idea. But yeah, still could be a wide range of countries. A lot of countries have lakes, so it could still be a lot of countries possible. Maybe Finland. I'm just to say something. They have plenty of lakes. Okay, this corner is not going to be as tight. I'm going to make it go here. Then it's going to open up like, not entirely like this perhaps. And then have it open up further, like so. Oh, this is already too long. I have to keep in mind. I hate how Roblox has a maximum part length of 2024. I think this track may be a bit long already. Don't want to make it too long, obviously. So I think what I'm going to do. Actually, this is going to be the final call, no idea, because usually what I do first is make the entire track layout for it first, so keep continuing like this until I've got a lap. But for the purposes of this stream, I'm actually going to do one sector, so this should be one sector already. And what I'm then going to do is add the curbs and some solid grounds as well. So I'm going to do, okay, that's not the part I wanted to have selected. That's a bit of a shame. But I want to make this straight a bit shorter. Or maybe this straight actually. Let me make this one a bit shorter. Because I think it's a bit too long for my liking. See, 490. Okay, then going to with this. Resize this 490 stuff so it matches up perfectly. Great. So what I had in mind is there's going to be a lake here, and I know the track's going this way. I already said it's not going to cover the entire. The track isn't going to be around the lake. The lake could be here, and there could maybe also be a river or a canal going through here or here, and maybe have a bridge or something where the track goes over. Maybe play a bit more with the track width, which I do in a lot of tracks. Could do that at the later part of the track. Because this track right now, it is relatively narrow, as you'll see in a moment. So I've got a car over here. It's a default car. It's kind of modified, so I can insert it here and make it work. Okay, I'm just going to drive and see how the track is, because when I create a track I have to drive around a couple times to see if the scale's kind of right and if the corners are any fun. Okay, that's a GG. This vehicle isn't working and I probably know why. So let me do something very quickly. Let me get a sound into the car, which I removed because I don't want any sound to be there. Let me try something. The screen's going to look very weird. No. Okay. There we go. The sound shouldn't be on. I hope. Don't want the sound to be on because there should already be music. Also about the music, you probably hear some music in the background, but I don't know if it's too loud or you can't hear anything of it. So let me know how the music volume is, and then I might change it. I know why the cars are moving, because of the character. The car only works with R6, with the R6 character model. I forgot to zoom this in. Wait, yeah, there we go. Now it's working. So as you can see, this track is actually quite narrow. It's kind of you can maybe compare it to Monza. Okay, this I don't like this hairpin. It's too narrow. Okay, this chicane is... I can maybe make it a bit faster. But the hairpin, I think I should make it a bit more flowing. Yeah, this track is quite narrow and the corners are quite sharp. They're sharper than I had in mind. So, can you make sure it's not a long circuit? The lap time will be around 1:15. That's what I have in mind. Actually, I'm going to redo this because I don't like how tight the track is. It needs to be a bit more flowing. Okay, this is better, I think. Make it go pretty far around, then no corner here. This should be better. Yeah, this is better. This is already... Wait. Okay. Nice perception. I thought this wasn't 2000, but it is. Yeah, because I think already the previous track I made, Gisborne Raceway, I think that's already longer than what I had in mind at first. So I'm going to make sure this track isn't too long. Oh. Okay, this straight should be about... I'm going to make about this, then I'm going to make the hairpin again, and I'm going to make it open it up. So it's going to be tight at first, but it's going to be wide towards the end of it. So let me think. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to make the outside bit of the... It's hard to explain, but you get it once I've done the entire thing. So this corner will be like this. Then I'm going to widen it to, let's do 80. Then we do this, where I try to make the corner more tight again. This is... okay, is this working? This is... perfect, this is good. Except for this here, but that's easy to fix. I'm just going to resize it a bit, so it matches again. And there we go, I just made the track a bit wider. It's just like what I did with Gisborne. Then it opens up, makes it a bit more flowing. Actually, I'm going to make it like this, and then what I'm going to do is going to make some elevation quickly. So I need to change this setting here. I don't know how to say it per se, and then I'm going to make the track drop down a bit. On Gisborne, I did make the track go down per part 1 degree, but I think that's a little bit too wobbly, so I'm going to do 0.5 instead, half a degree, and I'm going to make it 2 degrees in total. So I've got 1, 2, and resize it somewhat. Okay, this track's already going to be a bit different than I originally had in mind, so it's going to go here, then it's going to go back to normal again. Let's see how it looks from here. Should go down a fair bit, but not too much. Alright, there we go. So that will be Sector 1, or slightly more than Sector 1, because I think Sector 1 will end somewhere around here. And now I'm going to do the white lines of the track. So I'm going to do a part of the track first. I'm going to do the first corner and the main straight, which isn't all of the main straight actually. Wait, before I do it, let's make sure I've got the corners right before I decide to delete everything again. So let me quickly do a bit of driving to see how the track is right now. I think I may change the elevation change as well. Okay, this is better. Although I hope that the second corner will not be quite flat out, but I'm not going to change it. This chicane is a lot better now. It's a lot more flowing, I would say. I've got the hairpin here, which you can still have to solidly brake for, but it's again pretty flowing. Then we've got a little bit of a downhill section. And then after this downhill section, there'll be a fast left-hander followed by a fast right-hander. You can kind of compare it to the S's at Singapore, Sepang. The start of the second sector at Sepang, which is a left fast-hander and a right fast-hander. I'm going to do something similar here. But first, I'm going to do the white lines. Again, if anyone has any questions or wants to ask anything about the game, feel free to do it. You can ask almost anything. Yeah, just ask the question once and I'll decide if I want to answer it or not, but you can ask but I'll answer most things. Right, so this is a magic trick I'm going to do here. So this is how I do the white line. I'm going to resize this, change the color. I'm going to make it move. I'm going to move up by 1 dot, and then move down by 0.98. So it looks just like. So it looks like it's all flat, but actually the white line is slightly extending up compared to the rest. This is 1 dot, right? Yeah, good. But this isn't that straightforward. Actually, I want to still have this selected, because what I can do, I've got the right side of the track now done. Now I want to do the same for the left side, so I'm going to have all this selected still. I'm going to duplicate everything, and I'm going to move everything to the right, and I'm going to make sure that move object is selected. So now I've got the white line on the outside. This looks fine. If you really zoom in, you can see this here, but I'll ignore it. You can be ignored. You won't notice it. However, this over here, this is a different story. This is something I'm going to have to resolve right now. This happens all the time at inside corners, but I'm going to make sure to fix this before I move on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select every white line that is part of the corner, so not this one. I'm going to change the resize increment to 0.1. I'm going to select resize center and watch this. Yes, this looks 100 million times better. And I'm going to resize this, and there we go. We've got a white line around 1 corner. Now, next corner, and so this process repeats. So I'm going to do I'm going to do the white lines until this point, and then I'm going to move on and add some grass, which will be easy because everything for now until this section is flat. So spoiler alert for how to do the grass. I'm going to duplicate the asphalt and just put a base plate under everything, which is really easy to do if you have a flat track, but it's slightly more tricky if you have elevation. But at least for this part, this first part of the track, I can make a base plate under the track. So I've got the outside white line here. Let's go to inside. Resize. Wait, make sure I don't have this thing selected. There we go. Then go here. Then here. Let's correct this. There we go. Yeah, I can actually add the grass underneath right now. So what I'll do is I'm going to take this part over here. Going to duplicate it. I'm going to give it a different name than the others. I'm going to change the material, so the grass is medium green. I do that for all the tracks. Maybe I can change it slightly for certain tracks. And I'm going to insert a block mesh. So this grass will be, the grass here will be collidable, and the rest of the track will be non-collidable. That's how I do all the tracks up. That's what I do for all the tracks that I make nowadays. I'm going to change the friction so it matches with what the friction of the asphalt should be, so the cars aren't too slippery when you drive over it. Then I'm going to change the offset to -0.02, so it's going to be just under the normal asphalt, but not too much under. So at first glance you won't notice there's a difference in elevation, or however you want to call it. So as you can see, I'm going to add the grass under everything. Let's see, the size is 2048. I'm going to add some grass here as well. I'm going to kind of ignore this here for now. I'm going to do the elevation bit slightly later. I'll show you then how I handle that. Let's see, this is good. Yeah, I'm going to make kind of a hill down here, some elevation. And then what I can do, now I've got the grass underneath the track, I am going to select, let's make sure I've got everything selected except for the grass. Over here, this one's called grass. Where's the other grass part? Over here. Also going to make sure that the spawn and the car is not selected, and I'm going to make everything else non-collidable. So the reason why I do this, why I have the base plate collidable and the rest not, is to prevent wheel wobble. Because if you paid really close attention when I first drove my car around this track, it was quite wobbly. The car sometimes spazzes out a bit, it goes upwards and downwards. If you've played Formula ROBLOX, which you probably have, then you may notice at times this will happen, that your car will slightly bump or wobble like you hit a bump. I can't 100% remove it, but I can at least make it a lot less frequent by doing this, by making the grass or the base plate non-collidable and the rest non-collidable. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to the next bit of asphalt. I think I accidentally had grass selected. So I think it's handy to lock the grass so I can't accidentally select it. But then the issue may be that I may struggle to select some asphalt parts, because the grass is on the grass part is actually the exact same height as the asphalt. So I may struggle to select them sometimes. And I have a solution for that as well, which I may show you if the grass thing becomes an issue when selecting the asphalt parts or the white lines, whatever I need to edit. So once again, moving this inside. This is good. Did I have this part? Yeah, I did. Okay, that's not ideal because I have to move this part. Now I think I'm going to move it back to where it roughly was. This should be fine. I'm going to select this bit. Then we'll see which plugins do you use to make the tracks, excluding Archimedes. So, as you can see, I use Archimedes, as you just said yourself, and the other plugin I use is Command Utility. This might be a slightly older version, but it should have this, pretty much the same functionalities as maybe the newer version that may be out there. But yeah, the two plugins I use are Archimedes and Command Utility. By the way, what do you guys think about the coronavirus? Are you kind of scared of it? How is it for you? How does it affect your life in a way? I guess for me, it is something not to ignore, but it is a bit concerning in the Netherlands, where I'm from. Ooh, there's a controversial question. What do you think about Dahler and his league? I'm going to be very honest. I don't like Dahler at all. I would almost say I hate him, but that's a bit too strong of a word. But Dahler, he is toxic. And he has been known to steal tracks, etc. His, for example, I made the thing with Dahler. I made a standings GUI a while ago, and I used to only give it out to certain people if they ask for it. And I thought, yeah, they could run a good league. Then I'll give it to them. But I was a bit silly to give it to a particular person, and that particular person, according to him, he had the GUI in a place with Team Create on, and that Team Create place, someone had access to it who was friends with Dahler, and that person gave it to Dahler, and I did not want to give the script to Dahler, so he got hands on my script without me wanting it, and you know, that could be a bit annoying, but I thought that's a bit annoying. But what Dahler eventually did was he published the thing, and I'm still a little bit pissed about that, in all honesty. What I think of his league, I mean, I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. He seems to put some effort in his league and his games to give some updates, although his games don't have a lot of original content. At least core things aren't made by him. For example, he uses AC6, which is a chassis on Roblox, a script made by someone else. Basically what makes a car drive. People say he imported 3D models, and I personally would think that's the case. I tend to believe that as well, but the thing is, I don't know where he got his 3D models from, so I can't prove it. that he's using grabbed 3D models of the website, which to be fair, there are probably more devs who just grab 3D models as meshes of some websites. So that's not the biggest crime, I guess. So yeah, Dala, not a nice guy. I'm not going to say that you shouldn't play his game if you enjoy his game, although it's in itself is just okay when it comes to playability and not that great when it comes to content. But keep in mind that he's not a nice guy, in my opinion. Yeah, Dala does talk trash about other F1 games. Particularly, he has said shit about, or tried to say that my game is trash. Even though, here's a fun thing, I can actually check by a bit of scripting if a certain Roblox user has ever played my game, and Dala has never played my game when I checked. Last time I checked. So yeah, that's an interesting one right there. And he also talks down on Project Apex, which is an F1 game that was released in December by some guys that I know. It's a pretty good game. It's a well-made game. You should check it out if you haven't. However, you will struggle to find it through the Roblox search system because the Roblox search system is garbage. But yeah, try to find it if you can. Let me quickly see if you can find it. I can, if you want, put a link to the game in the chat. If you're interested, it's an F1 game. It has F1 cars in it. The guys who work on the game, they put a lot of effort in it, and it looks really good. It's probably the best looking F1 game on Roblox. Alright. Meanwhile, I just finished the white lines for the first part of the track, except for this bit, but again, I'll do that later. And now I am going to add some curves, and as you might have noticed, I moved the grass one stud down, so it's easier, or actually two studs. So it's easier for me to select the asphalt parts. Which is really nice with command utility is you can hold your control key on your keyboard and you can select multiple parts really easily. So I'm going to duplicate this. I think I'm going to make the curbs the same width as I did with Gisborne. I think this is just the right curve. I think this is the right curve width. I'm not sure what color I'm going to make it. I'm actually going to think about right now. I think I'm going to do... Well, of course, depends on the country, actually. If I'm going to do Finland, I should probably make them dark blue or something. but I don't know. I guess I can do the curve, actually make them reds by default right now, and maybe change them later. Luxembourg Grand Prix, do they have a lake actually? I don't know. There's probably a lake in Luxembourg. I would guess. Okay, so adding some curves. Then what I do with this here, I'm going to once again move it slightly up so they don't clip, so the red and the white, they don't overlap with each other. So now it's just red overlapping white, which is much better. So actually, how wide should I make the curve? So 4 times 3, I'm going to make it 11.8, that's good. That's fine. Okay, to extend this curve a little bit. Like this. And yes, there are lakes in Luxembourg. I thought so. So this is a way to duplicate the curves, to do them pretty quickly. Okay, this is good. There's one enormous reservoir in Wirtz on the border with the Ardennes Forest. Okay, that's a cool fact. That's nice to know. In the Netherlands, there aren't really lakes. Or really big lakes. There are a couple. But yeah, I once looked around Google Maps, see if I can find a big lake in the Netherlands, but there aren't a lot of lakes. There's one big man-made lake, which is the IJsselmeer, which used to be a sea, which is closed off by a large 30-kilometer long dike. So it used to be a sea, and it's now a large lake. So now I'm going to split every. Wait, what's convenient for me is I'm going to split those current parts into 2. One of them will be red and the other will be blue. So I'm going to divide 29.8 by 2, which should be 14.9. That's not true. What about 1? Yeah, okay, yeah, the chat's delayed. Of course. I mean, should it count it as a... Yeah, it's a lake, okay, I'm counting it as a lake, but it's a man-made one, so... You can put an asterisk next to it, I guess. I'm going to extend this as well. Where's Archimedes? Why I need it. 5. Invert. There. Oh, wait, I don't have to remove this yet. I want to do it from the other side as well. Fuck now. So the UTL decides to stop working for a brief moment, which is always good. I have no idea. Maybe after, I'm sorry for reading it, it's just late. After like a solid 16 or 18 tracks, you could do a season mode where you drive them all like in season format. It's hard to. I don't know how that season thing would look like. You can definitely do hosted championships around them with leagues. But I'm not sure how I can do it because I'm not planning on doing AI calls or anything. It has to be online, of course. But I think having a season, like doing tracks in order, should only be a thing on VRP servers for now, or private events, to put it that way. And yeah, 16, 18 tracks, it will take a while until we get there. I first want to get this game to like 8 tracks or something. I think that will be a decent amount to have first. 8 tracks. And then I want to focus on more scripting a little bit. Try to add some more new features, which I'll also do in the meantime. But right now, it takes me, I think, at this rate, on average, I think it takes 2 weeks to build a track if I work on it a few hours a day, or just an hour a day, something around that. Because Gisborne I did about 2 weeks in comparison, but the thing is, sometimes I have more time to work on it, sometimes I don't have a lot of time to work on it. It depends on the time. But let me think, if I would consistently focus on making tracks, which I don't want to keep doing, for until I have 18 tracks, that would take me 36 weeks, so 3/4 of a year roughly. So this curb's long enough, I think. I'm going to add some curbs on this side of the track right now. So duplicate, 5 studs as always. 15 studs. Yeah, I may keep the curbs red, but I'm not sure yet. Because actually there's only one other track that has red curbs. All the tracks in the game right now have a different color of curbs. Lukov has red, Flavor has orange, Rio has green, and I'm going to make it a bit shorter the curb. Maybe it could be used as a braking marker in a way. And Gisborne is black curbs, like Silverstone has. Let's do some more inside curbs over here. Size so they don't overlap over here. For how long have I been streaming? 45 minutes, okay. This should be a fair representation of the live stream. Even though I'm rambling now and then, this should be a fair representation of how long it takes to build a track. Or how the process looks like. So this is how you build a track, just hours of this. may actually do it 0.99. That's 0.99 for a little bit more smoothness. For a little bit extra. So make 3.8. Make it red. Then let's make this part then. Okay, this is actually, wait, why is this low? Never mind, this, it's not a big deal that this is a bit lower. I can ignore that. 3.8 times 3. It's 14.4. No. 3.8, that's a little bit, actually. I am going to change the colors. I'm going to do 4 each. I think 3 is too few. Let's see. This is better. So we've got 3.8 times 2 is 7.6, 7.2, 15.2. So this is 3.8. And then times 2, which is 7.6. 7.6. Then make this twice as long, so we should get to 15.2. There we go. 15.2. Okay, let's do another little trick. Actually, move this. That's good. Now I'm going to extend the track a little bit. Extend the curves over here. Archimedes, I need you again. I'm summoning you. I also hope I speak a bit clearly, because I think I sometimes tend to mumble a little bit, if that makes sense. Alright, great. I actually need to keep in mind there will be a lake here, so I need to change this a bit. The lake should be, I think, here. Now, and then I somehow need to add a canal of river that flows through here. So that's a nice challenge. So that's why I have to move the grass a little bit. Mess around with it to make work. Okay, goodbye Archimedes, you're worthless now. Leave my presence at once. Okay, 2 times 2 because it's one part of 7.8 starts. Okay, I actually didn't do this over here. It would be nice to do as well. By the way, the coronavirus is a little bit concerning, as I said before. Also because they are, at least in the Netherlands, there was news came out today that they are postponing any large event, including professional football matches, in a province in the south, which is the most infected area of the country right now, or the most infected province, I should say. It's not that bad, I think, right now, but if you look at Italy, it could get really bad pretty quickly. affections wise. But I'm a bit worried about Zandvoort right now, because if they're already cancelling events in a part of the country, then I'm really concerned about Zandvoort, the Dutch GP. If that will eventually be postponed or cancelled as well. Which would be a really big shame considering the hype around it. What language is that? Right. I hope the stream is running well, by the way, because I'm getting notification on YouTube that the bit speed is a bit on the high end, which I think could mean that the stream could lag a bit. I don't know too much about it, but the warning is slightly concerning. Okay, that's Greek. I was wondering because you have a Greek username, but the textual writing isn't in the Greek alphabet. So I was just wondering. That's a mystery solved right there. Okay, we're almost done with the curbs in this first section of the track. And we are about 50 minutes in. Okay, this is a bit more tricky. I need to select the inside parts here. Yeah, I can have that selected as well. That's not a big deal. Speak Dutch. Hallo, hoe gaat het? Dit ben ik die Nederlands spreekt. Dit zijn gewoon hele eenvoudige zinnen, want ik weet niet wat ik moet zeggen. Het klinkt waarschijnlijk heel raar. Ik weet niet of er überhaupt een Nederlander is die op aan het kijken is. Waarschijnlijk niet, dus ik zeg nu maar wat, terwijl helemaal niemand me waarschijnlijk verstaat. Okay, that's enough Dutch. Okay, I fucked up. I fucked up there. Good. Also, I didn't have a part selected. Oh, for fuck's sake. Epic. I can actually delete this part here. It's useless. Mein Gott, muss das sein. Ich kann ein ganz klein bisschen Deutsch sprechen, es ist nicht gut. Also, das wird alles sein, was ich in Deutsch sagen soll. Okay, back to English. I want to become fluent in German. one day. Yeah, I think if you speak German or maybe even English, you can maybe make out a few words. A few Dutch words. I can imagine, but yeah. If Dala steals this, I'm going to report him. I'm going to do my best to get him banned. Because I guess he can get away with publishing my standings UI because I already sent it out to other people as a model, but if he closest language to English is Flemish. I think that would be Frisian. Flemish is Dutch with a different accent. Frisian is a bit different. Bit more different. North Netherlands, that's Frisian. But everyone there speaks Dutch as well. In Friesland, the province where Frisian is spoken. Yeah, the thing is, if Dada tries to steal anything from the ROBLOX, I think I have more of a chance to get him banned than I had when he would steal or took my standings UI. Because I never nothing I use in FR or almost nothing is published, so you can't find anywhere else, which means you would have to use some software in order to obtain contents of Foreman Rogues, and that means I'll be in a much better position to try to get him banned. But yeah, I actually don't mind Dala if he does his own thing mostly, but as I said, he talks trash about my game and also Project Apex, and he is the number one. He has the number one rogues game. His game will be the first game you come across when you try to look for an F1 game on Roblox, which is not helping. So imagine looking for a good F1 game. You Google, so you search on Roblox for F1 Roblox, and then Dallas game pops up. I actually just realized I messed up something, and that's the. Give me a few moments because I fucked something up, and that's the asphalt over here. That's one stud left of the white line. Thank you, Computer, for subscribing, by the way. And I'm glad you are liking the content I am presenting to you here. Yeah, and then Dala proceeds to say Formula Rogue's bad, Project Apex shit. And that could influence, and that may keep people from trying out our games, which is a shame. So he's kind of like a firewall, perhaps. I don't know. But the thing is, I don't mind him running his league because although it apparently is unfair in certain ways, he does put effort in it, as I said before. So I'm going to give him credit for that at least. Yeah, that's a big deal, having players, the game being more enjoyable when there's other players. Because I can imagine Formula Roblox gets boring quickly, and actually most Roblox games get boring quickly if there are no players. Because pretty much every Roblox game, with the exception of a handful of games, are made for multiplayer. Uh, 3.3, 6.6, 13.2. 13.2, so this has to be 8.9. Yeah, there we go. 13.2. It's a bit. Which isn't that much. That long, but we'll roll with it. Maybe size is good. I'm currently making from the rogues on my own. I actually am not sure if I'm going to have other people make content for the game as well. Currently not. The only thing that isn't made by me in Formula Rogues is the logo, which is made by GPG Santon, or Jan Santon. And he's also a developer for Project Apex. He has made a few cars for them. Although I think he mostly focuses on making liveries for Sims, for racing sims like R Factor 2, R Factor 2, which he is pretty good at, by the way. Okay, we've got the curbs almost done. I'm going to show you one more thing after this, and that's making gravel. Okay, I think this curb length is good, because it also kind of helps with trying to find the braking zone. Okay, now I'm going to move the grass back up, and I'm going to This is about events in the Netherlands being cancelled. Does this concern Eurovision? I'm afraid it might, yeah. I need to check how bad the situation is around Rotterdam, but there are definitely infections in Rotterdam right now. So Eurovision, I honestly think if the infections keep increasing at the current rate, 20% a day per day, which is the situation right now, because right now there's a couple of hundred people infected in the Netherlands, but it could become over 10,000 in a month if it keeps going, if it keeps spreading. And I think it's definitely, if that would happen, which actually I'm afraid is pretty likely, then I think Eurovision might be in trouble. So is F1. Okay, let's test the track. This curb is, yeah, it's pretty accurate for the braking zone. This happening is pretty good. I probably need to change the lightning setting of this place because it's different from what the lighting setting is in FR. If you don't know what I mean, I'll show you in a moment. I need to add some. Oh, I forgot that this bit is non-collidable. Fuck. That surprised me. But yeah, I'm going to change the lighting setting to this, which looks maybe a little bit less okay if you compare it to what it previously had, and it looks a lot brighter. But the reason why I use this lighting setting is it's less laggy, I think, first of all, and I don't have to worry about shadows as much. Especially when it comes to grandstands and having unions. I just generally think that this lighting setting makes the game a lot more playable. So I'm going to do this again. This time I'm going to keep in mind that I'm about to fall down when I cross this bit. And goodbye. Say grass, I want the other grass to be selected, so I'm definitely going to change the way the grass is being done. Yeah, I think I'm going to show you how I do gravel, and then I'm going to switch off and go. Okay, I'll move this a bit here. It overlaps over there with the asphalt, but I'll sort it out later. Is that a Holocaust joke? Yeah, it's a bit extreme, to be honest. Fucking purging people. That's a bit too harsh, I think. Yeah, I mean, then you would eliminate all. There would be no infections in Poland, but what if there's still people coming from different countries that are infected? When there still be infections, you can keep going like that. Of course, there'll be significantly less infections in Poland, but here's one thing to consider with the coronavirus. Mostly old people die. And if you're going to kill everyone who has the virus, then you are probably going to, then you are very likely to kill younger people, like in their 30s or 40s. And that's how harsh it may sound. I'm sorry if this comes over as harsh, but I think killing or purging 30-year-olds is a lot harsher than 80 years old. 80-year-olds. I can't speak. Okay, let me do the barrier. So the pit lane will be on this side, so I'm going to do the barrier, add a little bit of barrier on this side of the track. So adding a part, going to actually look like this, scale down, change the color, make concrete, make it full start high. I'm going to make this, put this over here. So by the way, doing the fencing on the outside, it's kind of similar, but I'm going to briefly make this screen smaller. Going to grab a texture quickly. Going to copy a texture which I'm going to use for the fence. Then I'm going to do this. This should be good. And then lay on top here. Make this invisible, and then insert the texture. Duplicate it and put it on the other side of the fence as well. There we go. Okay, so I want to have a little bit of a gravel trap. I think this should be not too deep, I should say, too far outgoing from the track. Maybe something like this. Make the gravel trap go like this, or the fence rather, and then make it join the track here, or come closer to the track at least. Yeah, it's actually for the only time when North Korea isolationist, how do we call it? Isolationist agenda actually works. Okay. By the cars, do you make them? Yes, I make all the cars. There are two liveries there are two liveries that aren't made by me. They'll be, which is made by Joe Mick 29. If you are in game, then everything that isn't made by me, they should be credited. If you go to the car selection and select a livery that isn't made by me, then there should be credits to the person. You changed the ideology, right? Of North Korea. That's what they call the ideology. I can't pronounce this. Fuck. Okay, let me. Okay. Where's pronounced in Dutch first? Ideologie. Ideology. Ah, fuck, I can't pronounce this word. But yeah, all the cars, all the tracks are made by me. As I said, the only thing in-game that isn't made by me is the logo of the game, which as I said is made by JPG, Santon, and of course two liveries of the Susakuto liveries. Ideology. No, I'm not going to bother, actually. Ideology. Okay. Just stop. I need to stop. Okay, let's do gravel quickly on the outside. After that, I'm going to go. I'm going to end the stream. Okay, let's first select these parts. Then I'm going to duplicate. Then I am going to extend them to the edge of the track, which is here. Then I am going to move this back 30 studs. Then I'm going to resize everything. Then I'm going to change the color. Cool yellow, that's not the right color. Pastel yellow, then make it. Where's grass? Where's grass? Here. There we go. I don't have to be. I'm not going to be precise at first with this. I have a way to make this look smooth, which I'll show you in a moment. Let me first do the rest of this, of the gravel. Can I select this? Thank you. Thank you, ROBLOX. Great. Okay, fuck. Yeah, this happens. This because of the grass on the grass part underneath being on the same level as the regular parts. Okay, there we go. Duplicate. Move them 60 studs here. Good. Move them another 30. There we go. This I can sort out easily. Then change the color again. Good. Deselect a few parts. Fuck. Okay, fuck. Fuck the grass. Let me do this. I'm tired of the grass. Move it down one stud. Wait, I didn't select one part. Yes. You go down one stud as well. Thank you. Now I can select the gravel a lot easier. I actually don't have to care about this as well. I can sort it out very easily in a moment. So this looks a bit messy. This looks okay-ish, but messy at the same time. And now it's time to show a magic track. So, how about magic trick? So, How about a magic trick? And yeah, this is an attempt at a Joker impression. I'm going to make this gravel disappear. I'm not going to explain yet, just watch. Just watch what I'm about to do. Okay, just bear with me. Wait. This isn't good. Move this a little bit. Come on. Just a 10th of a start. Thank you. This should be good. There we go. Then I am going to make these negative parts, and if you have a little bit of experience with unions, you may be able to predict what's going to happen next. So now I'm going to select all the gravel parts. So I did just select multiple parts by holding the right mouse button and moving it over parts. I hold the control key on my keyboard, and then I hold the left mouse button and I just hover over everything. So if you want to select multiple parts, hold the left mouse button and the control key. It's really handy. And I'm going to press Control Shift and G, and look at this. And I'm going to move the grass up one step so you can see how this looks in the end. So how this looks. I'm going to quickly have a drive. I hope this union is non-collidable. Okay, good. This is good, yeah. Right, let's hit play. As you can see, it can drive with the gravel and everything. Yeah, this is good. This gravel size is good. This works. Okay. And then you repeat this process for all the other corners. Okay. And now I'm going to fall off again. Ooh. The pits, it's not that hard to do the pits, I guess. Doing the pits, of course I have to merge some asphalt parts, but it's not really a big deal. I think the hardest part building a track. I think, yeah, the gravel is a bit harder, it takes a bit long to do, and the fencing. But I think the hardest parts with the track is, at least with the method, how I make the tracks right now, is integrating elevation, integrating the grass bits with the rest of the track. I can really quickly show you how yeah, this is the last, okay, this is the very last thing I'll show you before I end the stream. So what I do as a basis for elevation is I select all the parts that have any elevation changes. I guess I'll select this as well. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to call it grass. I'm going to press Ctrl+Shift+V to insert the meshes. Okay, this is okay. This is all right. I'm going to select all the grass parts again. I'm going to give them the right color. I'm going to make grass. I'm going to apply the friction. I'm going to make them collidable. And I am going to, let's not deselect everything yet. I'm going to do this. As you can see, this is, okay, the color isn't right. It's should be not mint, medium green. There we go. This is the right color. Of course, there's this glitchy thing over here, which there's a way I can use unions to solve it, but with larger parts, unions get a bit more tricky. So this can be ignored. And then after this, I need to make this smooth, which I can, for example, let me unlock. Wait, Control Alt L. Why isn't this working? Oh, can I select this? Yes, I just did select this. Good. So I am going to enable Archimedes briefly again. And I am going to make this 3, whatever I need to do. So, did I just do it? No, I didn't. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, if I do this, then I can make this smooth. And then I do the same here and try to make everything smooth, and that's how I that is how to integrate the grass or the elevation with the rest of the track. And of course I have to sort of this bit, but I'll do that later. Right, a bet for a tutorial video making each one of these would be helpful. Maybe one day. To be honest, I don't think I'll make a tutorial on this anytime soon. Because it's quite a bit of explaining to do. Of course, I covered the live stream. I covered everything in the live stream already, but of course it's unedited. It's a bit messy. I talk about a lot of stuff in the meantime. But yeah, I can maybe do a tutorial at one point, but I'd rather spend my time working on the game rather than making tutorials. So maybe one day. Okay, so I'm going to end the stream right now. This is actually the first stream I think I've ever done where I've had consistent viewers. Except for maybe an OHR live stream I did a while ago. But yeah, this has been a great stream for my standards, having active people in the chat the entire time. It has been really it has been great. I hope I can do more of these live streams in the future. So thank you for everyone who has been watching the live stream. Thank you guys for being active in the chat to make this live stream a bit more enjoyable for you and for myself as well. And I'll probably live stream. I'll maybe live stream some more kind of behind Formula ROBLOX behind the scenes stuff in the future. And again, thank you for watching and goodbye.